Welcome. Do you want to learn the exact thought process that goes behind the trades that I'm taking in the market? Then this trade recap video will be for you. We're gonna go over the position that I took this morning, Tuesday 16th of June, during the London Open on the Nasdaq to secure $565 in profit. Without any further ado, let's dive in. First off, let me show you the proof of equity. So made $565 on the day, bringing my account balance at $25,567.5. Still the same account that I showed you guys in the last trade recap video. So I took one break-even trade on Thursday, but this was a position that I entered and immediately after realized that it didn't close valid. So I closed it immediately and ended up with like $20 in profit. And this is the first real trade that I ended up taking since last Tuesday, the last trade recap, which has been exactly a week. So let's dive into the market. First off, let me show you the trade that I took. This position right here, right after 4 AM EST, which is right after 11 AM Brussels time and right after 10 AM London time. Let's break down the trade. Coming in at around 2:30 EST. I'm speaking in EST terms because I used to trade New York. What did I see? I saw price was ranging heavily on the 15 minutes, on the 1 hour, on the 5 minutes. The lower I went, the more clear it was that price was consolidating and ranging. Now, whenever price is in conditions like these, I do not want to participate into the market. I want to, as a continuation trader, have clear momentum, trend, volatility, and price showing confidence that it wants to move to a certain draw. So when I see something like this coming on the charts in the morning, I immediately say, I want to see price take Asia high or Asia low before I consider participating. So that was my prerequisite and I stayed patient. So I won't bother you too much with the price action that came until 4 because it was just bouncing up and down until there. Right before 4 AM, price starts to move upwards. We had Frankfurt opening range high that got taken here, but in such a range, I don't really consider it a prominent draw. We had Frankfurt opening range low here. At 4 AM, price starts to run, takes out Asia high. And at this point, I am interested to start looking for entries because price has shown intent. Price has taken a draw on liquidity, and usually what comes after that is more momentum, is a reaction either to the downside or to the upside. Going to the downside, I would want to see an inversion and then a fair value gap continuation to this Frankfurt opening range low right here or this Asia low right here. If I want continuations to this previous day high, what I want to see then is price breaking the swing point that took out Asia high with confidence. In that case, I can enter the trade if everything else is aligning with my plan, of course. So we took out Asia high. Let's get rid of that line. Price pulls back. Whoops. Price pulls back in these two gaps. Let's just mark out the lowest one. It hit that one, by the way. If you zoom in, you can see that. And we also tapped into this big 2-minute gap, giving us more confidence of a delivery if the higher time frames are also aligning. We still were creating a 3-minute and we already had a 3-minute and we were still creating a 5-minute. But at this point, when price is showing confidence and delivering from a 2-minute and from 2 1-minutes and breaking this swing point, which happens right here, I am interested in participating in the market and targeting that previous day high. However, price closed pretty far from the previous candle, from this break of structure candle that tapped into the fair value gap. So original entry would be right here. And then you could choose to either place your stop loss under the middle point, which is the wick that tapped into the gap, or underneath the gap. I decided to go for the middle point. I'll explain why in a second. But first I want to go over my entry. So this would be the original trade ID. But I decided to wait for a pullback because we closed that far, and I managed to get in around here. Improving my stop loss and my take profit, my risk to reward does. So I got my entry around here. The reason I went for the middle point of the structure to place my stop loss being under the wick and not under the fair value gap is because we already tapped into two gaps. So I was convinced that if price would run lower than the wick, then it would tap out the gap as well. Whenever I get a better entry than the original entry, meaning original entry is right here at the close of that candle, but I wait for a pullback and I get in lower, I will place my take profit at the original 1-to-1 if I'm not going for the draw. Why did I not go for the draw in this scenario? Because we are in the second part of the leg up. We already took out Asia high. We got an immediate entry higher. I am convinced that price eventually will take previous day high, or that it's high probable. But since we are creating a 5-minute gap, later we will see that we created a 15-minute gap as well, which is to be anticipated if we have a strong leg upwards without any pullbacks. And then it is more likely that price will tap back into one of these higher time frame gaps before we are going for the draw. So in those cases, I go for a 1-to-1. But if I can get a better entry than the close, I improve my risk to rewards in this way because I keep my take profit at the original 1-to-1, but I get in at a better price, improving my stop loss position and improving my take profit position, and thus giving me a 1-to-3 risk to reward in this case instead of a 1-to-1. Last week, if you remember that trade, the trade recap that we did last Tuesday, I was able to improve my risk to reward also in the same ratio. So that's really nice. Accumulating it will compound. So that was the position that I took. Price ran higher and then started consolidating. We tapped break even one time, then we broke through. At this point, I moved my stops. In any situation, I will hold till the original 1-to-1, but since I'm trading a Take Profit Trader Pro account and this works with trailing drawdown, I can afford to go $400 into profit and then lose $400. If I'm at the top of my trailing drawdown, that would cost me like 800 of my trailing drawdown. So at this point, I had to go break even, or I decided to go break even. Price started consolidating even more, almost stepped me out again, but I got a pretty good entry, like below that blue candle was still in profit for me. And eventually it hit the 1-to-1. It even hit the 1-to-1 for the furthest point. Oops. Furthest point of the original entry would have been 27.5 for 27.5. That would have been there, and it would have hit that as well. But I was happy to take my piece of the pie and get out at what was like, a little under 30 points, $565, so it's probably around like 28 points. That was a trade on the day. Before we took out previous day high, as I was expecting, or as I was placing my bets on, we exactly created a 15-minute gap in that strong leg up, and we tapped it before eventually taking out previous day high. So very happy with this trade, actually. Very happy with the way I managed it. Very happy with being patient for a week and then being able to profit now. First time that this funded account is in profit, and I am confident that I can take it to a payout if I stick to the same discipline, patience, and skill set that I have been doing in the last few weeks. That's it for me. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be very happy to help you guys out wherever I can. Other than that, I wish you the best day of your life so far. What that means is tomorrow is gonna be even better. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.